Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment.
Broadcasting live from Strong Island Studios in Massapequa, New York.
You're listening to Man Up
With Eric Holzman and Matt Lehman.
Greetings, everyone. Happy Tuesday on this November 7th, 2017. This is Man Up. I'm Holz, that's we. How you doing, Matt?
Pretty good. Can't complain, aside from the weather. It's terrible out there.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I got here. I thought it was going to be late.
Yeah, seriously. We were talking on the way here, and Matt was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it, so you're going to be solo for a while.
And he was like,
yeah.
okay,
I was like,
I
whatever.
can deal with it.
Like, whatever. I work better alone anyway. So, how was your weekend?
It was pretty good. In all honesty, I actually had a flag game on Sunday. Serious business. Team name in the Legends. LI Legends League.
Yes.
We're hopefully on our road to the championship. We won. It was a sloppy game, but it was a pretty good weekend aside from that. Nothing crazy aside from that. Looking forward to the next one already. I think everyone, even though it's Tuesday, I'm still looking forward to the next NFL weekend and things to come.
And we'll get into that later, obviously. We will get into football like we always do every week. I saw Thor this weekend, and we will discuss that later as well.
Yeah,
we'll get into
I
that.
saw it
I know
too.
you saw it too, so we'll get into that a little bit later as well. But I'm gonna start on a somber note.
Okay.
About a couple hours ago, actually, I was checking my Twitter feed and I saw that former Cy Young Award-winning pitcher Roy Halladay died in a plane crash.
Yeah, I know. I loved him. I mean, he was the type of guy that you wanted on your team, you wanted on your fantasy team. He was a dominant, there's no other word for it. He was dominant.
Oh,
He
yes.
was an ace, whether it was on the Blue Jays or the Phillies.
Yes.
Only fond memories for him, and I've heard he was one of the most likable guys around the league as well. So.
Yeah, I remember hearing that about him, and I remember when there was a chance that he was going to be traded or everyone wanted him. Mm-hmm. Of course. I mean, the guy was incredible. He's an 8-time All-Star. He had a 203 and 105 record with an ERA of 3.38 over a 16-year career, obviously, with Toronto Blue Jays and the Philadelphia Phillies.
And the craziest thing I probably have ever, or I remember about him is, remember that World Series, or was that a playoff or a World Series game that he pitched the no-hitter?
No-hitter.
He's one of two people to do that,
Yes.
and that was, like, amazing to me.
Yeah, he was so dominant. Like,
I know.
batters were afraid of him. Like, you don't want to hit against him. And we've seen a lot of pitchers like that in our lifetime. I mean, of course, you have dominance like Roger Clemens, Randy Johnson. These guys are just
Schilling.
Right, Kurt Schilling, and he's in that. For me, anyway, he's in that.
Mount Rushmore almost?
Yeah, he's with those guys, and same age as me too. So kind of, he's a contemporary of mine. So
I hear you.
Yeah, and when I heard the story, that was one of the first things I thought. I'm like, wow, this guy had everything. Just learned a month ago, just graduated from flight school.
When he retired, I think he applied to go to flight school, like
Right.
literally the month after it. It was one of his passions. I kind of read up a little bit on it prior to coming in, and it's just sad.
Really is sad. Gone too soon, definitely gone too soon. So, one more thing I want to discuss. A couple weeks ago, I spoke about my friend's daughter. She has a rare form of cancer. She's 4 months old. I spoke to Andrew, that's his name. I spoke to him this week, and he told me that she's going to be going in for more aggressive treatment soon. So she's handling it well, but she's going to be going in for more aggressive treatment. So it's kind of they're a little nervous about that. But again, guys, it's on our page. It's pinned at the top. If you can, just go read the story. Like he tells me all the time, he's like, Eric, it's a GoFundMe page, but he's like, I don't care about the money. He's like, I really would just appreciate if someone knows anyone who who's gone through something like this or is going through something like this, to definitely get in touch with me and I can link you up with him. So
Yeah, and like I said a few weeks ago when we brought this up, it's about the support system. You never want to see a kid that's sick, especially with something like this. And
4 months old.
we're gonna, we want to try to get the word out. And again, he said it's pinned to the top of our page, so please share our page, share that link as well. The more support, the better. So.
Yeah. So moving on, last week we discussed the Knicks and their resurgence and how they were playing better.
We had a lot of callers too. They
We
called
did,
in.
yes. We had callers about the Knicks, and it just seems to keep getting better for them.
I love them.
Right, they're fun teams. This is
Honestly,
a fun team to
I'm getting. It's my New York sports side. You know, I guess I'm just a big hopeful in terms of the Jets, the Knicks. The Yankees actually have paid off more than they have.
Well, think about it. The teams that we both root for are doing better. Even the Yankees did better than anyone thought. The Jets have done better than anyone thought. And now the Knicks have started better than anyone thought. So there's 3 teams now that we both root for that we're actually like, we were started the season like, whatever happens, happens. And now we have seasons for all of them.
Don't you feel like the other shoe has to drop like eventually?
Well, of course. With the fans, the kind of fans of teams we are, definitely. And even me, because you're not a big hockey fan, but even with the Islanders, they've started out well.
Yeah.
So all the teams that I root for right now are looking
you're
good.
pumped.
Which means in January,
Something's happening.
Right. Something bad's going to happen, and I'll be depressed at that.
Catastrophic.
But it's fine, But the main guy, and arguably the best player in the NBA right now, is Kristaps Porzingis.
I agree, and we'd love to hear from you on this topic and going forward. It's 516-945-9099. But yeah, I mean, Kristaps is playing at a top 5 player level right now. And even the Knicks' biggest critic, Stephen A. Smith, today was on ESPN, was raving about him.
Yeah, I heard that. Listen to that.
I love him. I mean, listen, I like him. I like Ntilikina. I think the pieces are kind of coming together. They're a young team. They're buying in, it seems, to Hornacek's system now.
Yes.
And he just looks like Melo was possibly holding him back, right?
It's possible. I think too much is made of that. I think I definitely think that he doesn't have someone in front of someone else to share the ball with, another star. And because of where he came from in Europe, they're very deferential to the veterans over there. So I think that might have been part of it. I do think, though, that he got better over the summer. Like, he got better. You can tell he's stronger now. He doesn't lose position in the post. He's quicker with his moves. He's just been incredible. He's averaging 30 points, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks, shooting 50% from the floor, 37% from 3. And this guy's a 7'3" guy doing all those things. It's incredible.
You love the numbers.
Oh yeah, I mean, how could you not?
I love the numbers, but I also love him as a player and just the way that he's playing with his teammates.
Yeah.
He's not trying to put it on his back and do it himself, all right?
Well, when they need him to, he has. Like the game.
For sure.
The game on Sunday night against Indiana.
Yeah.
They were getting killed.
40. That was a 40-point game, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he scored 40 points.
First time ever, by the way.
Yes, but they were getting killed, and he spearheaded the comeback. It was unbelievable. He was hitting shots. My favorite athlete of all time is Patrick Ewing.
Really?
Yes, of all time is Patrick Ewing. And
Why?
Why?
Yeah, why?
I wasn't a basketball fan until I saw him play. Like, he's the guy who got me, him and Chris Mullin, both. And then Ewing got to the Knicks. So I got to see him more often, see him all the time. And he played hard all the time, left everything out on the floor.
So you're talking about Georgetown and St. John's,
right?
Mullin and Ewing, and then they.
I'm 40 years old, so
yes.
that was the formative years for me developing into a sports fan. That's when I first started really follow the Jets. Like, I'd watch football.
Yep.
But that was when I really started to listen and pay attention to things. And the Knicks were one of the teams then. One of my good friends, actually, my good childhood friends, he's actually the one that got me into basketball. I wasn't that big a fan, but he actually got me into watching it. And yeah, I mean, Ewing is my favorite athlete of all time. But Porzingis, some of the moves he makes now, the shots across the lane, the drop steps, it reminds me of Ewing. I'm watching this guy develop, and it's just cool to see.
He's the unicorn.
Well, yeah, I mean, he obviously does things Ewing couldn't do. Like, Ewing was a great jump shooter, but he didn't have range out to 3. This guy can shoot 3s. This guy could cross people up on the perimeter. Ewing couldn't do that stuff. He was more of a power guy. But
he's a mix of both finesse and power.
Yeah.
Well, the power has recently come out, as you
right.
mentioned last week, because he beefed up a little. I think the real unique thing is 2 things. One is the 3-point that you mentioned. You don't see 7'3" guys that can shoot 3s. They don't come around that often. Well, Dirk is still not even 7'3", and also Dirk is an all-time Hall of Famer, but he wasn't what Porzingis is at his age. He wasn't that good yet.
That's
he just
true.
wasn't. It took a while for him to come along.
That's true.
And then he became great, right?
Right.
But the other thing is, and the thing that a lot of big men today have an issue with is free throw shooting. I mean, he's shooting 83% from the line.
That's true.
And that's huge especially for a number 1 guy on a team, because you need to rely on him in those moments to hit those free throws or big shots.
Yeah, and that's been something else I've noticed this year too. Is he's being more aggressive. He's taking less threes, which is great. He's being more aggressive, and it's paying off because he's getting to the line more. So, and yet, hey, 83%. I wish it was a little higher, honestly. To be honest with you,
getting a little greedy now,
but
in my opinion.
But hey, I can't really. That's if I had to nitpick on one thing, it would be that, and his assists are a little low. He doesn't. Again, they haven't needed him to, but he did have a big assist on Sunday night to the Knicks rookie.
Ntilikina.
Yes.
He's been, listen, I'm going to start calling him Mr. Clutch after that shot he had.
It's a little early.
Premature as well. We're both that. But you know what? I'm hopeful. I really like that they've been giving him progressively more minutes.
Yes.
And he still does have a little bit of an issue with turnovers and also with fouls, but he'll learn over time to bring those down.
Well,
But
that
his
was the thing.
assists-
Yeah. Well, that was the thing about Sunday night. I mean, he was in the game when they made their comeback.
Yeah.
So he had like 7 assists. I think he only had like 2 turnovers. I watched the game. I was watching up to that point, and I was almost at the point like, you know what, they're going to lose tonight. I'm not going to.
I actually shut it
Yeah.
off. I told you I did. I was like,
You
what?
told
They
me.
came back and won? No way.
Yeah, and I'm glad I didn't because that's how Madison Square Garden was in the 90s with the Ewing team. That's what I remembered, and this is fun, man. I'm having a hell of a lot of fun. The thing is, and like you said, can Porzingis keep it up? Can the Knicks keep it up? There's going to be bumps in the roads. Porzingis is not going to be hitting all these shots all year. Every player goes through a rough patch.
Yeah.
So you're not going to have this going, to the end of the season. I hope so. I mean, it'd be amazing.
I think I told you last week, I thought that they would, if they kept progressing, and also, we haven't mentioned him yet, but Tim Hardaway Jr.'s looked a lot better as well.
Yes, he has looked better, yes.
He's a good number 2, I think, as well.
Yeah, for the type of team that they are, I think he is too. He's, the problem with him, and this is what I think, I don't know if I mentioned this last week, is that if his offense isn't flowing, he seems to lose interest in everything else.
Yeah.
When he's scoring, he's great. But I've even noticed a little bit of change there. Like, he's even been a little bit better staying focused. Oh, we have a caller.
Who do we have on the line and where are you calling from?
My name is Rich. I'm calling from Westchester, New York.
Hey, Rich, how are you? What do you want to talk about?
Oh, so we're going to be talking about the NHL coaches.
Okay.
I just have a couple quick questions. It's going to be a 2-part question.
Okay.
Just sports in general.
Go ahead.
Hey, how is everything? I got a 2-part question.
Okay.
So, do you believe NHL coaches should wear uniforms like the MLB?
Interesting. You don't like them in their suits?
Nah, I'm partial to suits, actually. It would be funny. It'd be a little comical if they did wear, coming out with all the gear and the pads. It'd be kind of funny. It'd be,
Like goalie gear?
maybe a little add
Yeah.
a little more interest, possible. Hockey.
No, I definitely hear you. I hear you on that. I've also wondered why they don't wear skates. Seeing them creep out on the ice, it always gets me a little bit on edge.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
I'm sure they have special non-slip shoes like the waiters wear.
That's true.
Oh yeah, no, they could almost wear spikes.
Yeah, right?
Put some tire chains on them.
I agree.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
I also have another question. This
Go ahead.
refers to baseball, dating back to Johnny Damon on the Yankees.
Okay.
When he had to shave his beard, did that affect his playing?
I don't know if he's Samson. Like, I don't know if the hair.
His power was
Okay.
derived from the beard.
Yeah, you know how Samson with his hair and they cut it off and he lost
Yeah.
all his strength. I don't know. It's possible though. That's a really good point. I never thought of that.
No,
What do you
I
think?
hear you.
Yeah, why? What's your opinion on
What's
that?
your opinion?
My opinion, I think he plays great. He played great either way. When he was on the Yanks, he's one of my best fans. I was one of his best fans, and then I got to think Matt Damon really was. Matt Damon was the movie star. He was great too.
I do like Matt Damon though. He was pretty good in The Bourne Identity.
Matt Damon is a good actor.
Damn good actor.
Love that dude.
Hey, you guys got me. Let's go. Now we're gonna go to basketball. JJ Redick, where is he now?
He's on the Sixers.
Yes, he signed a ridiculous 1-year contract, like $22 million or
doing
something like that.
He always had a great shot. I remember watching him versus St. John's over at Duke.
Yeah, they played a couple games, a couple really classic games at Madison Square Garden. I remember when he was there. That was the team I
still
think.
watch the classics almost every Friday.
What do you
Sometimes
think?
just, catch myself wanting to replay them.
What do you think about the Knicks? Are you a Knicks fan?
Porzingis, I can't get enough of him.
You like them? Do you like Ntilikina? What do you like about them?
His hair, his dribble.
His hair?
Outside the court, he has a good style.
Fair enough.
Hey.
Can't hate on him.
No,
He's a snazzy dresser.
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh, looks like we have another call coming in.
Thanks for calling, man. We have another caller coming in.
Hi, we have another call on the line. Where are you calling from? Okay, I don't know if we have it.
I don't know.
I don't know if anyone's there. But anyway, so the Knicks, I mean, I'm really amped about Porzingis, and I think that they're going to be a playoff contender. He kind of got me a little off track, but I'm pretty excited to see what
Johnny Damon.
But I wonder if he was just curious about, like, the whole conversion going to the Yankees overall, like cutting your facial hair.
That's
and everything.
true.
So I don't know if he was trying to make a point. We appreciate the calls.
Definitely appreciate the
Kinda
call. Call
threw me-
back.
Yeah, a little loop, but I would have liked to know, his idea about the coaches, and the NHL having a regular uniform on. Why? Does he want them to fight?
But honestly, that like hockey doesn't have the greatest following at this. Maybe if they did something where the coach would wear the player's uniform, maybe more people would watch. It's a little funny. I'm fine the way it is. Obviously, I've been watching hockey since I was a little boy, and the suits are always nice. But,
You like fights?
Well, even that, but that's not really that big anymore.
I know
They
it
really
isn't.
cracked down on it.
I know, but I mean, we're gonna get off track. I don't even care. But what do you think? I mean, would you rather there be more fights? Like, I liked it. I mean, I'm one of those fans that liked it. I mean, I'm not.
No. I mean, of course, it's the only sport where fighting was actually part of the game. Like, they actually had players on the team called goons.
Hell yeah.
And their job
loved
is
it.
just to go out and fight. So that's awesome. It's the only sport outside of like wrestling and boxing and MMA now where fighting is the thing.
They even made a movie called Goon
Yes,
with Liev
Goon.
Schreiber and Sean William Scott,
right?
And they're making another one. And it's coming out, but the point is, I was a little bit into hockey growing up, not huge, as you know.
Right.
I never really played it, but I did enjoy the fights, and that's kind of what got me into it. And I went to the Islanders games when I grew up, and I was always into that.
I mean, they have plenty of DVDs of like best hockey fights, whatever. And if you ever want to, just have a bunch of block of those that you want to watch, dude,
they have clips all over YouTube. You could go right now. The number is 516-945-9099. Give us a call. So, speaking of fighting, I saw Thor Ragnarok over the weekend with my girlfriend.
Yes.
I liked it, and she liked it. And she was
did.
the one that fell asleep at the Batman versus Superman. So
A lot of people fell asleep at Batman versus Superman.
But so for her to be entertained and actually say, hey, I really like that movie to me, when I usually have to drag her to comic movies,
Right.
That should be, 2 thumbs up in itself right there.
Yeah, no, as you know, and I've told you, I was not looking forward to this film. I didn't like the trailers at all. I thought they were really campy. I thought the humor was forced. But again, like I said in my video that I posted after I saw the movie, you can't always go by a trailer because when I saw the film, it actually fit. Everything kind of fit. It flowed. The humor wasn't too heavy. It seemed right in the parts that it was there.
If you haven't noticed, Eric's trying his hardest not to spoil it for anyone.
Yeah, there's scenes that are popping in my head that I want to talk about, but since the movie just came out this past weekend, I don't want to go in too much in depth. If I do start saying a spoiler, Matt's going to have to shut me up. And
He's a scholar and a gentleman, that's basically what he's saying, so he's trying not to do it, but he does want to talk about a lot of stuff. But overall.
Yeah, maybe we'll do another show.
Dive into it a little.
And dive into it a little bit more but still, it's the most critically acclaimed Marvel film, which is crazy to believe because most of their films have been critical hits, and there's only a couple that have been missed.
Guardians of the Galaxy 1 was great.
Yeah, I mean,
I like that.
Almost all of their films, though, if you go on Rotten Tomatoes or you're looking
Yeah.
or CinemaScore or whatever, you see they're all high. And this one is the highest rated. So I didn't think it was it's not my favorite Marvel film. I enjoyed it. It's not my favorite one.
What's your favorite?
But my favorite one is either Iron Man, the first one, which I loved. But no,
OG.
I'm sorry.
The OG film.
No, Captain America Winter Soldier. That's my favorite.
Really?
Marvel film. We have another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you're calling from?
Hi, my name is Eddie from Northport.
Hey, Eddie, how are you? What do you want to talk about?
I called to talk about Thor.
All
Okay.
right, great. What do you want to talk about?
It was a really good movie. I liked you know that one part when they were
Make sure you're not
Hold on.
spoiling. Make sure you're not spoiling it for people out
Yeah, we're
there that
trying
haven't
not-
seen it yet.
We're trying to.
Oh, okay. Oh, geez. It was they were fighting a lot, and
All right. Eddie,
What were your
you guys are making me
expectations?
nervous now.
What were your
I don't wanna
expectations
spoil the
going in?
movie.
all right, well, give us a call back if you can think of a question. No big deal. Thanks, Eddie.
The bad lady in there. What did you think? She was. I liked her.
We have another caller calling in.
Sorry, Eddie. We have another caller calling in.
Hey, Matt, it's Mike. How's everything going, buddy?
What's up, Mike? This is my friend Mike Manfredi, Michael Alexander on Facebook. You've talked to him a few times, I think.
What's going on, man?
What do you want to talk about, Mike?
Nothing much. Did you guys touch on football yet?
Not yet, but you can certainly
Yeah,
bring
go
us
ahead,
right
Mike.
into it, buddy.
All right, cool. So my main talk for today is after post Jay Ajayi trade to the Eagles, who is most affected by the trade positively and negatively?
Well, I mean, the Eagles, I think,
Yeah,
100% are positive. I mean, they have two studs now, maybe three in there.
He looked great
But
on
what I'm
Sunday.
saying is,
Okay.
the running backs that are already in their system, who gets affected positively by the trade of Ajayi and who gets negatively affected by the trade?
Blunt, I think that's the first.
You're talking
guy.
about fantasy, or are you talking about going forward with
Real-
the team?
No, he mean
Real life.
Real life.
I think Blunt easily for me because to me he was only a closer anyway,
Yep.
and Ajayi can do that,
Yep.
so they don't need to play LeGarrette Blunt anymore. Of the other, Smallwood now maybe fits more into his niche now,
Yep.
maybe as a receiving back out of the backfield,
Yep.
doing a little. So those would be my two.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, listen, I think Ajayi is a young stud, and I don't know why the Dolphins traded him after like 5 or 6 games, basically. Bad
What I don't
games.
understand is how they traded him for a 4th-round pick, and then Jarvis Landry's asking for at least a first and on top. So I understand that, getting a prime-time possession receiver that gets targeted at least 10 times a game is a commodity, but a 24-year-old running back that can do everything, don't you think that's more valuable to a team than basically a one-trick type of pony in Jarvis Landry, who's basically, turns a 3-yard, 5-yard reception into a 15, 20-yard gain?
I do, but I also think that the Dolphins are. And listen, some of my friends last week who are Dolphins fans, some of them that are Patriots fans, whatever, they think I'm biased towards the Jets, which I am because I'm a Jets fan. But I think the Dolphins front office just doesn't know what the hell they're doing, and they're just asking for whatever. I think that running backs are undervalued, so that's why he only went for a 4th. Receivers in a passing league command higher picks. And Landry has the most catches in his first 3 or 4 years of anyone ever in the NFL.
Yes.
And yeah, if ODB didn't get hurt, he probably would be right there with him because they were like, neck and neck.
Right.
But that's why I feel that they're commanding it, and I don't think it's correct value, but.
All right. So I'll piggyback off of that question with this one last question, then I'll let you guys
You
go.
got it.
So, with that being said, do you guys think, because there have been talks and it's been spreading around, do you think that even though the trade deadline's over, do you think by the start of next season that Jarvis Landry will be together with Odell Beckham like they were at LSU, but with the New York Giants?
I don't know. That's an interesting question. I do think. I mean, it'd be great for the Giants. They need obviously they need all the help they can get from what we've seen this year. But
That's an understatement.
but I don't. That's a really good question. I don't. I don't know if Miami eventually gives up on him. I wouldn't if I were them. I like Landry a lot. I think he's got really good hands. He makes the tough catches. Anyone who goes over the middle to me is gold in the NFL, and this guy does it on a weekly basis. So if I'm Miami, I don't think I would look to trade him. I have seen the rumors. I know there's rumors out there. I don't know what they're doing. As a Jets fan, I hope they trade him because it's one less guy we need to worry about.
Yeah, right?
But it really would be an interesting pairing with Odell Beckham.
I don't know if they could. First of all, I don't think they're going to commit both the amount of money that both of them want to them. So that's my part of the thing.
The reason is because they have to re-sign Odell after next year. So do you think that they're going to do that to themselves, knowing that if they got Landry, they would have to sign him for a lot of money and then have to basically spend all of their cap on 2 wide receivers?
Yeah, I don't think that they would. The Giants are too conservative. But Mike, we have another call coming in. Thanks for your call, buddy.
Not a problem, guys. Have a great.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Matt and Eric. Who's calling?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Woodney calling from Clifton, New Jersey.
What's up, Wood? How you doing?
How you doing, man?
Pretty good, pretty good. Definitely appreciate the non-spoiler Thor review. Definitely appreciate that.
Someone almost spoiled it. That guy, he almost did.
Yeah,
I heard it. I was like covering my ears.
It might have been the same.
Call Eric on Iron Man and Winter Soldier. Those are classic Marvel movies.
Yes, sir.
Wanted to discuss the Knicks. Wanted to know how seriously I should take this team. I haven't been. I'm not even sure if I'm still a Knicks fan, but I haven't been a fan in a while. I just want to know if I should be really investing my time, my energy, my dollars. Is this team worth throwing down a couple shekels to go to the Garden and see? What do I think?
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You love your Knicks, so I know you're going to go in after. I paid for them the last 2 years. And I think Kristaps alone is worth the see. If you've never seen him in person, 100%. Also, you want to be one of those fans that if you haven't stuck it out through the hard times, the Eddie Currys, the Stephon Marburys, the Isaiah Thomases, the James Dolans, and you're coming back around, you want to be one of those people that get in early so then you can be like, I've been here the whole time, you know?
That's true.
That's my opinion. What do you think, Eric?
I definitely. This team is fun to watch, man. They're young, they're hungry, they're playing well. Right now, anyway. So I definitely would. I haven't been to a game in years, but I want to go to a game this year. So definitely, I would put my money down, support the team again, buy the gear. It's only getting better from here, I think. I don't know how many games you've seen, if you've seen any of them, but Porzingis alone, like Matt said, is worth the price of admission. This guy is unbelievable.
The unicorn. And my buddy actually. Sorry, you know what? I'm interested to hear what you think of the team and have you seen it, like Eric was saying?
Yeah, have you watched any of the games?
I've been watching. I mean, that win against the Cavs, was that a real win? I mean, I know the Cavs aren't really the Cavs right now, but I mean, I see what they're doing. I see the kind of numbers the unicorn's putting up. I don't know if this is real or not. It's just early and they're catching teams off guard, or this team's legit.
I think that's part of it.
What do you guys consider a successful year for us?
Well, if you asked me this at the beginning of the year, I would have said I don't care, because I would have been fine if they didn't do well and got another lottery pick to add to the future. But now, with the way they're playing, I mean, expectations raise, obviously. So I would like to see them sneak into the playoffs. I think it'd be good for Porzingis' development to play some playoff basketball, especially at the Garden. We both know Wood. We're old Knicks fans, so we know what the '90s were like and how incredible that was. So I think it'd be really cool if Porzingis could get that and make him see, okay, I really do want to stay here, because that's really the key now, is keeping him happy and getting him to commit here. He says all the right things, but you never know in a couple of years. So that, for me, that's what I want to see. I want to see them sneak into the playoffs and make the playoffs, and maybe, I don't know if they're good enough to steal a round yet, but at least be competitive in the first round.
I feel like even if they don't get in the playoffs and they have a respectable season where they improve their win total by even 2 times, I mean, that's a win, because we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah,
and
that's
Ntilikina is already showing signs of, listen, it was not the pick that some people thought. Neither was Porzingis.
That's
you
true.
Know it's going to pan out.
Yeah, all these European guys
That's it.
seem to know how to play. So
Not Frederick Weiss, but aside from
that was oh man, that was the beginning of the end, I think.
Oh
when
yeah,
they got
man.
him.
Once Vince Carter dunked over him, our momentum
God.
changed. It was an instant change.
No, I told you that was a violation. That was a male violation that should never happen.
That was a real
All right,
get to
guys,
know
keep
you
up the good
moment.
work, man. Big fan. Keep up the good
Thanks.
work.
Thanks,
Man.
appreciate
Thanks
it.
for
Call
calling.
back anytime. Our number is 516-945-9099. Please share this video if you're watching it. We did have a lot of people tune in last week, about 400 or 500 people.
Yeah.
And we didn't get one share, so we would appreciate the share if you're enjoying what you're hearing.
Yeah, definitely.
So the Jets.
Yeah, we can fall back on a little bit of football. Now, I have to apologize because I did not think they were going to win on Thursday night. Matt did. And you were right. So I was completely. And it's not only that they won, it's how they won. Like, they really dominated that game.
I'm telling you, the tide's turning. And I mentioned this, I think I mentioned this every single week. Jamal Adams changed the culture for us.
Maybe.
And sweeping Sheldon out and
Maybe.
all these vets that had, besides Muhammad Wilkerson, who has been playing great, but might be cut at the end of the season just because of money.
Well, the crazy thing about that is he stopped practicing during the week because he was banged up, whatever.
Like a Strahan?
Yeah, so he stopped practicing during the week, and ever since then he's been playing great. So stop practicing, please. Just don't practice.
So
Come
like
out on
Allen
Sunday.
Iverson style. We're talking
Right.
about practice.
Yeah, but he's honestly, he has been incredible the past few games. He looks like the player that signed a huge contract. He's pushing, he's getting in the backfield, he's disruptive, getting some pressure on the quarterback. That's what they need. Like, you need that guy. You're paying him all this money.
Yeah,
that's what
he's
they
gotta
paid him
perform
for.
that way.
Yeah, so that has been incredible. Even Leonard Williams started showing a little bit like
Big Cat?
Right, Big Cat showing up this little bit last week to a tune of 7 sacks against a mobile quarterback like Tyrod Taylor.
See, I think that's I know you say it like that, but I actually think it's a little skewed because mobile quarterbacks let up more sacks. Because people think they don't, but they actually do because they're rolling out more into direct pressure. Not to shut down your point. You're like, oh.
But they're also better at escaping
Oh, for sure.
those plays too.
They're gonna
like
avoid them.
if someone has a beat on Eli Manning, Eli's going down.
Oh, he's a statue. He knows how to fall with the best of them now.
But if it's Tyrod Taylor, he make a move, juke, that might be a 30-yard gain.
For sure.
So, and what they did too, and I'm going to sound like Tony Romo, who, by the way, has been incredible.
I love him.
He's
Even
been
though
incredible as an analyst.
he had a little drama today. I don't know if you've heard of that.
I haven't heard, but
We'll go on to that next. Go ahead.
But no, but he said they were containing him. They were
Yeah.
keeping him within the tackles, which is what you want to do. If a quarterback's gonna run, you want him to run up the middle, because that should be where your linebackers are, right? So if a quarterback's gonna take off, you
Yeah.
want to force him into the middle of the field.
Of course,
And that's what they were doing. They were keeping right. So,
Standard football. If you're
Yeah.
a D end, you learn.
Yeah.
Your first responsibility in most systems,
Right.
because sometimes 3-4 is different. Outside, contain, and that's what they were doing.
They were doing. Yes, they kept him in pocket, didn't let him get away.
And shady as well.
Well, yeah, he seemed to get a little banged up on the first play. He had that long run,
Do you remember?
and then what?
Do you remember last week we were joking about it, and I was like, maybe the Jets will bang it up next week.
That's true.
Look what happened.
You did say that. That's true.
We're a little
Good
bit
point.
psychic over here. I mean,
There
your
you go.
not to get too off track, but your picks this week were amazing, and I also picked Jared Goff, which
Yes,
is great.
yes.
So, and who did you remember who all your picks were last week?
I
Brain buster.
I'm getting old.
They were
don't
good. They were
remember.
good.
Yeah, I don't even remember one of them right now, actually.
You remember one of them?
Which is bad.
I'll give him a minute to look it up. But, I mean, the Jets overall, they had a great game. And going back to Muhammad Wilkerson, it's a weird situation because they did give him that massive contract 2 years ago almost at this point, right?
Right.
And his cap number is going to be astronomical. So they're probably going to cut him at the end of the year.
I would think so.
I doubt they trade him because of that number. They're not going to be able to.
Right.
But he's really been, I mean, he's someone first of all, I want to come back if they do cut him. But I feel like it's probably not going to happen. He's just going to be another guy that goes on to another team and wins a championship. And the Patriots would probably pick him up because they don't have to sign Jimmy Garoppolo anymore. So,
That would be the worst. The Patriots would pick him up, and he'd go back to being the player.
he'll be
he was.
Richard Seymour.
And yeah, that would be the worst. But yes, I'm gonna go back to my fantasy picks now because as Matt said, I looked them up. I picked up Jacoby Brissett. who had a good game at the Texans.
Yep.
Darkwa for the Giants wasn't great, but was respectable. Did an okay job. Marvin Jones last night. This dude loves playing in Green Bay.
I know he does. He killed it last night.
He was great last night.
2 TDs, right?
Yeah. I didn't, and you know what? I did not see what Vernon Davis is probably the only one I didn't get.
Well, Vernon Davis was a little weird, but he didn't do bad. I mean, he was a part of their game. Jordan Reed was out, so.
But you nailed Goff and Peterson.
Yeah.
Peterson had a big game too.
So note to self: play your own guys, because me, out of 25 people, I placed 21st, I think, last week. And I have to take a revenue. I beat my girlfriend finally this week. So there you go. I had to.
But it's funny.
I didn't play golf though.
I didn't join early this week, and I was doing it on Sunday, and I had one spot left. So I'm trying to get my picks, and then I go to click, and they're like, it was filled. So I didn't get a chance to be.
You didn't join our.
I didn't get to be in our fantasy league.
Man Up DraftKings.
Right, and my buddy Paul, who won last week, he wasn't in to defend his title either.
Good. Keep him out. Money for me. But there's also some other good things. I mean, the Jets did. So.
Well, yeah, they ran for 194 yards, which is obviously dominant on the offensive line. And Buffalo's run defense, I think, is 8th in the league, so that's a pretty impressive number.
It's a little skewed because Marcel Darius hasn't been with them for the last 2 weeks, and he's now with the Jaguars, which we never.
It's scary.
We never even talked about that trade, but
we didn't.
That was for a 4th also, I'm pretty
I know.
sure. And it's because his contract is so inflated and big that he went for that level of a pick. But his talent, for anyone who doesn't know who Marcel Darius is,
so good.
He's top 3 D tackles in the league.
Good. He's so good.
And that goes to a Jaguar, their defense.
Unbelievable. Yeah, no, he is really good, and it's crazy that the Jaguars get another guy to add to that defensive line because they don't have enough of them, right?
Oh, and their second. That can be a whole other discussion with their secondary and what happened this weekend too. But,
yeah, there were a couple of interesting things that happened. Interesting fights.
Yeah.
Speaking of the hockey fights, we had some football fights.
Well, yeah, and we'll get into that in a minute because I just want to make sure that it doesn't detract from how awesome the Jets were. And gotta hammer that in.
He's gonna keep rubbing it in because I picked them to lose.
And you picked them to lose, but this week they caught 2 huge breaks, and it actually ties into the fights you were talking about because one of the fights involved Jameis Winston. Technically, Jameis Winston and Mike Evans.
Right.
Where Jameis Winston, I'm sorry, I'm going to have you use your head as a prop, he went and he poked the back of the guy's helmet from the sideline to instigate a fight. Now, Mike Evans, the receiver for Tampa Bay, he's turned this way. He doesn't see the poke. All he sees is his quarterback get pushed.
Right.
Comes in, erupts, knocks the guy over, flips him head over heels.
And really quickly, can we stop with the Jameis Winston love already?
Crab legs?
Winston? I'm so sick and tired of hearing how good this guy is. He's not good. He's not. He's fun. Yes. He's rah-rah. Yeah, all that stuff, 100% right. When he's on the field, he's not a good quarterback.
He's turnover prone.
Yes.
You're right. But I don't think you can say he's not good.
You played football. What's the number 1 rule in football?
Don't turn the ball over.
There you go.
Well, but on the field, don't turn the ball over. Off the field, be a good teammate. So they conflict.
Right.
But I don't think it's getting to the point where he's doing things that are going to make him not worth it, basically.
Nobody cares. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers organization does not care if he's a good teammate. They want him to win. That's what he gets paid to do.
You really think they don't care that when they drafted him number 1 overall that he's not a good teammate?
That was one of the reasons why they drafted him, because of his leadership. But but that's like, okay, you could be a good leader and do good things, or you could be a bad leader and lead the team down the bad road. And right now, if you're instigating fights, I'm sorry, you're going the wrong way.
He's kind of like a Cam Newton in my mind because he's got a great set of skills. He's got a great talent. And listen, it's a different quarterback, different styles, but he's becoming that kind of a distraction in my mind.
Let Jameis Winston win an MVP and play in a Super Bowl, then you could bring him up about being like Cam Newton.
Fair enough. But listen, also, Jameis Winston doesn't have guys like Kuechly on his defense. I'm sorry. They have a great defense.
Has nothing to do with his ability to play quarterback.
It does. It matters in terms of the mistakes they can make on offense that they can make up for, in my mind. I could be. Listen, it's.
Well, no,
we differ in opinions. That's it.
No, in football, one hand washes the other. Obviously, if the offense is good and the defense is bad, you're not going to be a good team. So, I see what you're saying, but from just playing the position of quarterback, the defense has no bearing on how Kevin plays.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. And you know what? for him to poke this guy in the head, it made literally no sense. I was like, what the hell is this guy doing? He's not even on the field. He was out of the game at this point because he wasn't even playing? I know he hurt his shoulder.
No, he hurt his shoulder and he was out. Fitzpatrick was in, which we'll get to in a minute as well.
For sure.
But,
well, actually, you know what? We're going to do it now because you brought it up. We are going to be facing Ryan Fitzpatrick this week.
Isn't that karma right there?
And Evans is out on suspension because of the fight that we just mentioned.
Right.
And Winston is hurt still, and he's on the shelf for a few weeks, which he might have even got suspended, who knows, for instigate or something stupid like that.
Right.
But we're playing Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Crazy. Like, this is one of the most, you always think, as Jet fans, we think of like Jets things that happen.
Yeah.
This is one of those things. And you know he's going to have a good game.
I don't think so. I'm starting the Jets defense.
Come on. He's going to have a good game.
No.
It's the Jets karma. This always happens.
Jets karma, but their team is not playing well right now. We can stop the run. They don't have their best receiver. You did mention, not on the show, but you mentioned to me earlier in the day, Deshaun Jackson you thought would have a big game, which I could see happening only if, one, he gets a big play in the beginning of the game.
Yeah, that's true.
In the beginning, I think because we're going to be stacking the box to stop Doug Martin. Even though he's not a beast anymore, that's going to be and Charles Sims.
Well, yeah, you want Fitzpatrick to throw the ball.
Do you want me to know who I think is going to be if this guy has a big game for them? And I think they're going to be game planning for him just because of the height difference. If O.J. Howard has a big game against us, the tight end, it's going to be us losing. I'm going to tell you right now. That's what's going to be the key.
I haven't even been paying attention to how they deploy him. Do they use him?
He had a
They
drop.
might this week, though. That's true.
That's the thing.
Yeah, that's true.
And Darren Lee is 5'11", barely scraping 6 foot, and this guy's 6'6".
He's been playing great, too. I can't even hate on him. I was a little worried, but he's really starting to play well.
He's coming around, and he's learning how to move in space, and that's the big thing because he's such a small guy.
So fast.
I think that would be the key for them, and yeah, so fast. But I also think that they don't have the corners to handle our guy who's so fast, Robbie Anderson.
Yeah, man. This guy every week. And he's, like we said last week, he's developing as a receiver. He used to just be, he would go on, fly patterns or go routes. Now he's working the middle. He's running better routes. It's really fun to watch. Like, he's a fun player to watch because last year you were intrigued. And so you were like, this guy, and we thought we'd have a Nunwa, so we didn't, we figured we'd have him and a Nunwa, and, but he's had to take a bigger role, and he's been really developing, getting a lot better. So
I love him.
Yeah.
Matt Forte's been getting burned. He seems like Matt Forte of 3 years ago before we got him. He's actually.
Yeah, well, Bilal Powell seems to do all the work on Thursday.
Yeah.
And Matt Forte just came in and stole his touchdowns. But
whatever, man. I like that we're performing.
Yes. Exactly.
If you come over to this side of the fence in terms of the Jets, are you
over
here now?
How could I not? You don't have a choice.
Yeah?
They're not going to be bad enough to get one of the top 5 picks anymore.
No.
I can't see that happen. I mean, I shouldn't say that. It's possible they lose every game
the
rest of the year. But I don't see that happening, no. So like I told you before, I would never root against them. I always want them to win. I just didn't care this year if they lost. But now it's getting to the point, like if you have a chance at the playoffs, I mean, like I said, anything can happen when you get to the playoffs.
This is a huge game right here.
So it is.
They are
huge game.
Hovering around 12th to 13th pick with a 4-5 record right now.
Right.
Which they could probably conceivably still get a quarterback because Deshaun Watson went at 14.
Right. No.
And
not every team.
14?
And not every team's going to need one. So,
no.
Yeah.
A lot of young guys.
Right.
But if they win, it brings them right up to almost around 20, and that's great because, like you said, playoffs. I'm rooting hardcore. And I sincerely believe, even though the Patriots aren't doing great, they're going to have a bye by that week 17 when we play them. And we're going to be seeing whoever, what is it, Hoyer now? Whatever schlub they have off the street. Yeah. They signed Hoyer. They're probably going to trade him for a 4th or on waivers or something, some back-ass thing.
You know what? I know the second half of the season their Jets schedule is a little bit tougher.
Yeah, it is. But it's not like they've played. Well, listen, the week competition they played, the Browns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And didn't we lose?
And they beat Jacksonville.
We beat Jackson. It's up in the NFL right now is so fun to watch because it's so up and down every week with the teams that are good and bad. Except for a few, obviously.
Yeah, but this is like a bigger deal. This happens every year now. Mm-hmm. Every year you go into the season and say, okay, this team should be blah blah blah. Like Tampa Bay, this year was supposed to be very good. People thought they were going to make the next step.
Oh yeah.
And they've been terrible.
Hard knocks.
Everyone thought the Saints would be good on offense like always, but their defense would be terrible. And look at them. Their defense has been playing
They've
great.
been killing it.
And they've won, what, 5 in a row, 6 in a row, something like that, since going 0-2?
Trading AP?
Yeah, that's true. That helped. The Doug Martin, Kamara. I mean, not Doug Martin, sorry. The Mark Ingram,
Kamara
duo.
The split is good for them. It gets Kamara some burn. He's been a great pass catcher for them.
Yeah.
Mike Thomas hasn't had as big of a year as he had last year, but I do think the surprising for them is Ted Ginn Jr. He's been playing great for them. It adds another level to their defense.
It's not even that.
Or offense, I should say.
It's not. They're changing the way they play. Like, it's not Breeze drops back 50 times anymore. Now they're running the ball more and they're controlling the clock more. So you have a different approach. So yeah, I mean, we always think from fantasy purposes, you got to have Breeze or you got to have their receivers because you know they're gonna. But that hasn't been the case this year. They have been a much more of a running team than I even thought they'd be. I knew they were going to try and mix it up.
You know who's a bust on their team?
Who?
Willie Snead. I know he was injured for the first few games, but the last 3 games he's been irrelevant. He had -1 points for me in DraftKings. -1.
Of course, that's how you.
Oh
relate.
yeah, but I mean, I was like, oh, finally, I got to take a shot. But in all honesty, he's been a complete bust.
Yeah, I had him last year in fantasy, and he was great.
Didn't you suggest him like 3 weeks ago?
I did.
And he was.
Yeah. And he didn't even play that game.
Yeah. So, see, terrible.
Well, no, but like I was saying, it's kind of the way the NFL's going now. Every year, any team can make a run, and you just don't know which team it could be. Except for the Browns, they're never making a run.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, even
bad.
the Jets come around like they're coming around right now.
That's what I mean. Like, we didn't expect this, and I mean, a couple bad fourth quarters, they could be what?
They could be probably like I don't know. It could be
5. They lost 3 fourth quarter leads, right?
6 and 2 then.
Yeah.
Right. No, 6 and 3. Sorry, my math.
7.
No, 6 and 3.
Yeah.
5.
Yeah, 6 and 3. Yeah.
But they would be 6 and 3. They would. So
that's what I mean. So.
Does that team a 6 and 3 team because of like fourth? It's similar to the Giants a few years ago. Remember that? Remember all those games they lost?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that kind of brings us right into the next
Like,
topic.
holy crap.
The one good thing about this game, once again, I picked Jared Goff and he killed them.
Yeah, he did.
I have a friend that actually went to the game. I'm not gonna.
God.
And he actually bought these tickets because conceivably he thought it would be a pretty good game.
Right.
In the beginning of the season, so he bought the tickets and he went there. He took a bus. They have like a party bus type thing, and he said the only thing worse than the game was the drive back from the stadium. It took him 5 hours. He passed out on this party bus for an hour and a half, and they haven't even left the parking lot. When he got up, he was like, "Are you serious?" So the the car accident that happened on the field was as bad as the car accident off the field. So
seriously, wow.
Yeah.
Like, when the way the season has been going, everyone has kind of been like, oh, McAdoo. And I'm always kind of like, you know what? It's so easy to blame the coach when the team's losing. Maybe, the players have to take some responsibility. But a performance like that really does signal to me that the coach, they're just not listening to him anymore. And they don't even, I have never, and I mean, I'm a Jets fan, like we said, and most of my friends are Giants fans. So I have never watched a Giant team where I said, that's just, they're not even trying. Like, this is just,
that's what I thought they gave up.
That's on Sunday. That's what I said to myself, and not since. I mean, I don't know if you remember Ray Hanley. He doesn't. Like I said, a little older.
Sorry, blank stare.
He was the guy after Parcells who took over as coach of the Giants, and it was the same type deal. He was a bad coach, and this is what McAdoo reminds me of him.
Are you saying that McAdoo is the Giants' rebound from Copeland?
Yeah. Well,
really?
How else would you explain it?
Yeah.
Like, how else could you? Obviously the injuries this year have been terrible for them, and that's definitely a part. But they didn't address the offensive line in the offseason. Mm-hmm. Again, they kept going with Flowers at tackle, and he's terrible.
He is terrible.
Maybe on the right side he's better, but he's terrible on the left. And when you have a quarterback, an aging quarterback who still can play, that should be your focus.
Yeah.
And they just haven't done that. And this game was just a microcosm of all that. They got destroyed. I feel so bad for any Giant fan who went and watched that.
Yeah.
Your friend.
Oh, my God.
We have a caller.
That we do.
Caller, what's your name? Where you're calling from?
Justin Warden, and I'm calling from Carmel, New York.
What's up, Justin? What do you want to talk about?
David?
What's going on, man? I don't know. You should be able to hear.
Justin, can you hear us, buddy?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we
Yes.
can. What do you want to talk about?
I just wanted to talk first of all, you're talking about the Giants, and I'm obviously a Giant hater.
Big Cowboys fan right here. Big.
Okay. Horrible with Eli Manning at this point in his career. They talking about turnovers in general, and they turn the ball over way more than any other. He turns the ball over way more than any other QB that I can think of at this point in his career. But speaking of QBs, my question for you guys is, thinking of last year's draft class with Jared Goff, Dak Prescott, and Carson Wentz, do you think that draft class as QBs has the chance to be maybe one of the best QB draft classes of all time?
Yeah, definitely does. The way Wentz is playing, obviously Prescott was great last year too. Both of them actually have been pretty good since the beginning of their career.
For sure.
And Goff finally is coming around this year. Yeah, I mean, the 83 class is always considered
the creme de la creme, so to speak. Yeah.
But, I mean, it's very early in these guys' careers, but I don't see why not if they keep progressing at the rate they're going.
I will say this, Justin, is good luck to the Giants for the next few years, because you have Wentz, Dak, and if Cousins stays there, how are they going to even progress? I mean, I don't know. I don't have to tell you that. I agree with you on the Eli point 100%. I think he's been, I said this last week, the last 3 years, the most turnovers.
Yeah, it's always been an issue for him, even when he was good, like his good years. He's always had turnover problems. I've never seen a quarterback sometimes just throw the ball up and like, okay, whatever happened. The funny thing about that is one of those plays won them a Super Bowl.
That is true. What do you think, Justin?
When I think about Eli Manning, he reminds me of like a Joe Flacco almost.
I agree.
He gets like he got hot at the right time. You know, he got hot during the playoffs. He had a good defense at that particular point. Like Joe Flacco had a great defense, and then he got super hot towards the end of the season.
Yeah. The first Super Bowl that the Giants won, I thought the defense should have. I know Eli got MVP, but I thought the defense was the reason why. The second one, he played a lot better, so I was okay with that one. But no, that's a really good question. I'd want to see these guys develop, though. I want to see Goff, Prescott, and
I know it's early. I just think about how many draft classes actually come out with more than like one good quarterback in them at one particular time. Like you have with Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, and Eli Manning in one draft class. You know, that's a pretty good class. And then you had the Dan Marino.
Right. That's the
Jim
83
Kelly
class.
And
Elway.
Elway, there you go. I wasn't thinking of it. But you have like these draft classes with like 3 QBs sometimes that come out, and I think potentially this draft class from last year might actually have that potential to be that good.
I agree 100%.
The difference between that class, I mean, Goff and Wentz obviously were early picks, but Prescott was a 4th-round pick.
Yeah.
You know,
you could compare it early on before RG3 was trash to that class where Wilson came out late and that was the best quarterback. And last year it actually looked like Dak was going to be the best one going forward. And now it's kind of like, who knows?
Wentz is kind of surpassed him at this point.
I agree. Wentz is listen.
But no, I would not. Please, if I was a Cowboys fan, I'd be really happy right now. Yeah. You go from.
As a Cowboys fan myself, I'm definitely not upset. I think about it like this. So he might be a product kind of our offensive line and the fact that we could actually run the ball too, because that does help out a lot. Like I know at one particular point, when Romo was really good, we didn't really have a running game at that. Like our running game was not very good at that point. So he was making a lot of plays himself. Where now we really have like a solid running game, so that might be a product of him being able to run the ball on our offensive line. So we still got to see a little bit how he goes from year to year. But
I agree.
The Romo thing has always as a non-Cowboys fan, for some reason a lot of Cowboys fans can't stand him.
I love him.
And I never got that. As a Jet fan, I would have killed to have Tony
Romo. A few years ago,
Justin's
one of my best friends, and a few years ago, when Revis and Romo were all having their issues, I was like, let's do a straight trade. I was like, you guys need a secondary. And thank God we didn't do it because it would have been bad on both ends.
Right.
But, listen, I agree, and I think this has potential to be that level. Justin, thanks for your call, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Weeman. I appreciate it. Have a good day, guys.
You got it.
Thank you.
Going back, and I know the show's about to end here, but Romo, I don't know if you heard, he kind of took a sub shot at Deion Sanders through Marcus Peters not being able to tackle, but he said he's still better than Deion Sanders, and then Deion Sanders came at him and was basically like, well, I got this gold jacket and I didn't buy it. And he was like, what about your playoff wins? And I hate that it always goes back to the playoff wins because the defenses blew it a lot.
But as well, the quarterbacks for some reason that's how they get measured.
That's it.
How did you do in the playoffs? Did you win a Super Bowl? No other position gets that scrutiny, but the quarterback always seems to get. That's always the difference. Like people used to say, obviously Peyton Manning was much better than Eli, but they would always say, Eli has the 2 Super Bowls.
Yep.
So Yeah, so
that's it. I mean, listen, time will tell, as always. And
Yeah.
Eli, we didn't get into it, but maybe next week we'll talk about potential replacement.
yeah, next week it was something we wanted to discuss, but we are running out of time.
And that is it. And listen, please, if you've enjoyed the show, share us and
Yes.
like our page. Join the Man Up group on Facebook and on Twitter.
Yes,
And
on Twitter.
Please call in next week, 516-945-9099. This has been Man Up with Matt Weeman and Eric Holzman.
Yes, sir. We'll see you next week.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.